Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You are now listening to Lucifer here, aka Seth, aka King the Conqueror, aka the High Evolutionary, aka Thanos, aka Darkness itself. Okay, that's enough. And I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you guys are doing great. I know I am. So by the way, um, welcome to school. If you hadn't noticed, you are now in the school of scolomancy, right? And if you don't know what scolomancy is, it's the school where Lucifer teaches all creatures of the night how to use their demonic or dark oriented abilities and powers. And since my name is Lucifer and I am your teacher for tonight, welcome. Um, you are now in school. If you hadn't noticed, and a lot of you guys hadn't noticed. It's okay. It's okay. It's all right. Because I know what you're doing. You ciphering through YouTube channels and you're trying to find other spiritualists that might be able to give you the same kind of knowledge and the same kind of point of view that I'm giving you, but you won't find any because I'm patient zero. This all this shit comes from me. All this shit comes from me. So you're not gonna find anybody else like me. So you gotta take advantage of the situation by subscribing to the channel and uh and leaving likes and comments and all that good stuff, right? So I'm starting to see a pattern here, and I mean no disrespect. I'm starting to see a pattern here, and I mean no disrespect. The thing is, I'm starting to notice that there's not a lot of uh there's not a lot of Luciferian or Satanist on my channel. Of course, I did mention a couple of times that I'm not really a Luciferian and I'm not really a Satanist. I'm a demonologist. But so what? Because the thing is, Christians, the God believers are on this channel. I don't know why they're looking for something to do. They're looking for Jesus points. So they think by attacking me that their God is going to like them better, which is not the case. But whatever. What I'm wondering is, where are the intellectuals? Where are the thinkers? Where are the people that have a head on their shoulders? Where are those people? What happened to them? You know what I mean? Because the thing is, look, a couple videos I was kind of like alluding to, there are some fake Satanists, like the Illuminati. They're fake Satanists. They're not devil worshippers. They don't worship demons. They are the hand of God. They're the hand of God. They are God's punishment. Everybody thinks that the apocalypse is going to come around and he's going to come down with all of his angels and blah 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 blah. It's already happened. We're living it right now. You just don't see it. It already happened. It already happened. You just don't understand. As above, so below. Or as I like to say, as below, so above. Right? The punishment is already here. How can you explain children going to church and being molested? How do you explain that? How do you explain a lady walking down the street and being molested by a gang of people? How do you explain that? How do you explain these so-called celebrities, having tunnels leading to their houses to have wild, weirdo parties with, underage, children? How do you explain that? And none of these guys go to jail. You know, I'm not saying that nothing ever happens to them, but I guarantee you, when something bad happens to them, it's probably because somebody was pissed off. It's probably because somebody was pissed off. Somebody did some black magic on them. And that's the only way to catch these guys, is by doing black magic on their ass. Because the police ain't gonna do shit. Most of the time, the police ain't gonna do shit. So you're gonna have, like, so we have to, like, put curses on these niggas. And I'm not the only MFer that's doing curses on these guys. There's a lot of other people that's doing curses on these guys too. We don't talk to. It's not like there's a network of witches that talk to each other. No, we just watch what's going on in the news. We don't like it, and we're like, oh yeah, you like that shit, and then wham, we go berserk. And that's most of the time how they receive punishment. Most of the time. How many times that these so have you ever heard, if you are part of the so-called targeted, like, let's be real. Let's be real for 2 seconds, right? These so-called targeted individuals. I don't believe that people still call themselves targeted individuals, thanks to me. But if they do, and if you're in that crowd, there's a high probability that they like, okay, yeah, they're attacking me, they're sending, stuff and their radio airwaves and shit like that. But what are they end up saying? They end up saying it don't matter because they gonna get what's coming to them, and they actually do get what's coming to them most of the time. Not all the time, but most of the time. So it is what it is. It is what it is. So at the end of the day, it's magic that's taking care of business, not the law. I mean, the law tries from time to time, but the law don't know nothing. Because most of these kids that are police officers are weird. They're weird people. They are very weird people, very bizarre ass individuals. Because I don't understand how you can live on Earth and be so oblivious. Because nobody else is oblivious. For some reason, cops are oblivious. For some reason, it's like they're doing it on purpose. It's like they're brainwashed or something. It's weird. I don't know. I don't know what's up with the police effect. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how that shit works. It's just weird to me that everybody else on the planet knows what's going on, but no police officer know what's going on. Like, they have no idea for some reason. It's very peculiar. It's very weird. It's very suspect. It's very sus. So, anyways, um, so where was I going with this? So let's get back to the story here. So, anyways, man, welcome to the School of Scolomancy, like I said before, and this is the place where you're going to learn everything you need to learn in order to become a god. And this might be the only place that you're going to learn how to become a real god, to be quite honest. So, speaking about brainwashing, that's actually I wanted to segue into brainwashing. The thing is, intelligence and logic is a factor. Intelligence and logic is a factor. Why? Because this brainwashing that's been laid upon us is actually a double-edged sword. No pun intended, no offense meant. But it's actually, because I heard that on another video. A guy said something about curses being a double-edged sword, and that's a thing that I usually say too. Because I do say, if you do curses, you're opening a door. If you use magic, you're opening a door, right? And that door goes both ways, and it stays open. Until you figure out how to close it. The only way to close a spiritual door is by stop doing magic. That's the only way to just close that door. Period. But once you curse somebody, especially if you curse a magician, you're opening yourself up to an attack also, right? Because you can't close the door, right? You can't walk into somebody's house and lock somebody's else and stop somebody else's. So you can't stop somebody you can't stop the person that lives in the house from getting inside of that house. You know what I mean? Like, you don't, like, that person has the key to his house. You might have found a way to get inside the house through a window and some shit like that, but you can't stop a person from entering his own house, right? If you can do that, then you could literally, like, murder people. For real, like, you could, like, it would be crazy. So, like, you would have, like, unlimited strength. Like, it would be insane, right? So what people need to understand is, if you send a curse to someone, especially a magician, because you can send a curse, because some people are crazy enough to curse a person multiple times. And, and depending on the person, if the person's dumb, he might kill himself. If the person's stupid, he might kill himself. If the person is emotional, he might kill himself. He might hurt himself. He might end up, hurting somebody else or hurting himself or some shit like that, which is the point of the curse, right? But somebody that's smart and somebody that has logic, if you curse that person repeatedly, even if he doesn't know magic, he's going to figure it out. He's going to figure it out because most people have a protective shield, right? They have protection. They are, like, everybody has spiritual protection at some level, right? Some people are aware of it, and some people are aware of it. Let's say an intellectual might never be aware of it because he's too prone to uh, down to earth things, right? He might be a little bit too prone to down to earth things, and I might be wrong about that. But one thing's for sure, he's still gonna figure out that something ain't right, right? And when he's figured out that something ain't right, that's when the curse stops working, right? So, in essence, the brainwashing, because yeah, I am talking about brainwashing, and I'm talking about curses. What's the difference? Well, the thing is, I'm not really talking about curses. I'm talking about open doors, right? Um, and it's all gonna make sense, right? So this brainwashing this conditioning, brainwashing that's been done onto us as kids, uh, and this is why logic and intellect comes as a factor, right? Um, you can flip that on them. You can flip you can flip the conditioning and the brainwashing on them, and not necessarily on them. See, the thing is, they're actually giving you power. It is dark power that they are putting inside you. They are, because the thing is, it's like your mind. If you know how to cook, do you know how to cook? Yes. Okay. And even if you don't know how to cook, have you ever cooked spaghetti? Yes. Right. So when you cook spaghetti, you got to take the spaghetti. You got to boil the spaghetti, and then you take the spaghetti and you put it in a filter, right? And the filter and it drains. You put it in the drain, right? And you put spaghetti in the drain, and all the water come out, and the only thing left is the spaghetti, right? Your brain has the capability of doing that with bullshit, right? So your brain has the capability of doing that with garbage, right? With conditioning, right? Because what these guys are doing is that they're using uh, some form of spiritual attack on the masses, right? Because it is a spiritual attack. Anything that affects your mind state, that changes your perception, is a spiritual attack. Anything. the root cause of it. The root cause of it is a spiritual attack, right? So, and when you're messing around with words and brain patterns and perceptions, that's magic. That's not a high level magic. It's not, it's not invocation or evocation or conjuring, but it's still a type of magic. It's still considered as magic. It's still in the world of magic. Okay? So your mind, right? If you are capable, if you're smart enough, your mind is going to subconsciously drain out the bullshit, and it's going to keep the energy. Now, the problem is the energy that they send us is mostly dark energy. So now it comes to a problem of choice, right? Do I keep this dark energy for myself and I create things with it, or I just disregard everything and I try to be as light as I can be, right? And that's all on you. I'm not here to tell you what to do, right? I'm not here to tell you what to do. Me personally, what I did is I drained out all of the garbage and I kept the darkness, right? So this is the reason why I'm capable of creating uh, magical weapons. This is why I'm so good at creating magical weapons, because I have spent years. Because the thing is, I'm a TV baby. I'm a TV baby. I'm the type of person, like I'm the type of I'm a child that I never went outside when I was a kid. I never went outside when I was a kid. I had a Super Nintendo. Like the only thing I did was watch TV and draw. That's it. That's why I'm so good at drawing, right? I never went outside. I was always a recluse. I was always inside. So that's why I'm so good at drawing, comic books and playing video games, because that's what I did my whole fucking life, more or less, at a certain extent, especially when I was a child. Of course, when I grew up, it kind of stopped, but I still draw from time to time, and still this day, I still draw from time to time, and I still play video games because it's just part of me, right? Of course, I play a lot less video games than I used to when I was a kid, but whatever. I don't know why I'm defending myself right now, but whatever. Feeling a little bit self-conscious. So to get back to what I was saying here, I drained out all of the nonsense, right? All the shit that I don't need, like you know, wrong ways of seeing things. Because the thing that's let's be honest a little bit. You need a little bit of light, right? You need a little bit of light. And what I mean by that is you got to have some form of balance, because without that form of balance, you're going to accept the bullshit too, right? But the beauty of having a little bit of light in you, the beauty of having a balance in you, is that when you are in the darkness, you're going to have a flashlight, and you're going to use that flashlight, and you're going to spot the lies. You're going to spot the bullshit. You're going to spot the things that you don't need, right? But that does not mean that the dark energy goes away. It's still inside you. The dark energy is not gone. It's still inside you. It's still part of you. And you do have, regardless of these people's existence, you still have darkness within you. It's all a matter of which wolf that you want to feed, right? Some people rather feed the white wolf, and some people rather feed the dark wolf. I rather feed the dark wolf because I like that sort of stuff. I like weird things. I like horror movies. I like science fiction. I like psychological thrillers. I like shit like that. I like spy books. I like James Patterson. I like Tom Clancy. I like philosophy. and things and so on and so on. And I like occult knowledge. I like occult knowledge. I like reading grimoires. I like reading grimoires. I like reading not romance novel, but science fiction novels. That's the thing I like. I like weird shit, right? I like Spawn. Spawn is my one of my favorite comic book characters. Blade 2, if I have to say so, and I like DC Comics more than I like Marvel. I like DC Comics more than I like Marvel. Although I have read more Marvel comics than actual DC comics, which is kind of weird because I do actually, because a lot of Marvel is not very dark, but if you look in the right places, you're gonna find some dark shit. Because I didn't just. It's not like when I say I read more Marvel comics, I don't really mean Marvel comics. I mean like Image Comics. Because Image Comics is a subsidiary company of Marvel, right? But it's not Marvel. And in Image Comics, the stories are a little bit darker. The heroes are a little bit weird. There's a lot of weird concepts, real abstract, obscure concepts, and shit like that, right? So it's needless to say that I accumulated a fair amount of dark energy throughout my life, right? But this is also alchemical. This is also very alchemical. Um, you have to perceive things from an alchemist's standpoint, which means you have to understand completely and fully. You have to understand completely and fully the um, conversations that are brought before you, right? And this is how you can drain out the BS and keep the power, because they're sending, because it takes power to send these things. This is alchemist thinking. You have to perceive things as an alchemist. You have to be aware that it takes a certain amount of power, regardless if it's physical kinetic power, kinetic strength, or metaphysical strength. It depends. Like it doesn't matter. All that the only thing that matters, that only thing that you need to know is that it takes a certain amount of power, whether it's electric, kinetic, metaphysics, quantum, whatever you choose, atomic, whatever you choose to call it, or whatever you choose to perceive first. You have to understand, because you can perceive, because you can't. Let's say you're a magician. You was a magician. Your whole family do magic, and so even as a kid, you perceive things on a magical standpoint. If you are watching a show, or you're watching a movie, or you're reading a book, or you're speaking to somebody, in the street, you have to because it's dangerous, because the streets is not different from TV. I'm sorry to tell you. I'm sorry to tell you. It's not different from TV. It's not different from media. And what I mean by that is most people get their information from the media, whether they are aware of it or not. Because the thing is, some people might live their whole lives without watching TV, but they talk to people. And people are a stream of information. And shit rolls downhill. All right? When the boss starts pooping, it's not going up towards the boss. It goes down to everybody else that's under. So it doesn't matter if you don't watch TV. If you speak to people on a consistent basis, you have to be aware that the people you are talking to are taking their info, whether you like to admit it to yourself or not, or whether those people don't want to admit it to themselves or not. At the end of the day, you are just repeating what was taught to you. And those people also don't watch TV. It don't matter. The information comes from somewhere. So when you understand where the information comes from, when you are aware of where the information comes from, then now you can decipher things more easily, right? You can decipher things more easily. So you're a child, and so your perception is everything is magical, right? So in your mind, the power that's being used against you is magical. So you understand that. So now you understand that whoever is giving out this magical process that is coming towards you, like the sea, right? Because information is like the sea. People are like an ocean. People are like an ocean. The imaginarium, the imaginarium, the consciousness, right, is like the sea. And it goes, so you have you're an so you're a ripple, right, in the sea, right? Because you have information in your head too. You have ideas too. You have an imagination too. You have creativity too. So you're pushing those ideas towards the sea. So there's a wave that comes from you too. But you need to understand that there's also a wave coming from everybody else. And that's why you get information. And that's how you start a conversation. And that is the basis of a conversation. The basis of a conversation, converting sensation, right? Okay, so you are receiving information from the ocean of ideas and mediatic, I forgot how to say that, but you're getting information from a so-called medium, right? Not medium as a paraphysics or something like that, paranormal or some shit like that. I'm talking about parapsychology here. Yeah, there you go. I'm talking about parapsychology here. So when you have to understand that when you meet people and you go outside and you speak to people, you have to understand that this person's point of view is based off the same information you have. And I'm not talking about like what you actually read and write when you're alone by yourself. I mean like the common conception of how the world is. So everybody more or less have the same conception of what the world is. It's like, let's say, like, let's take women for an example, right? Let's take women for an example. Most people have the same idea about women. Most people have the same idea about women. So most people think they need this is gonna make sense. Give me a second. Most people think they need to bring a girl out on a date and then get married and then have children and then so on and so on. Right? This is the common conception of everybody on the planet. Me too. Me too. Right? At the end of the day, me too. I have the same. It has been told to me by other people. I have read books that were saying the same thing. I read comic books that were saying the same thing. I listen to music that say the same thing. I listen to movies that say the same thing. I listen to radio shows that say the same thing. I go to events where the announcer is saying the same thing. I talk to friends that say the same thing. It's a common conception. It's part of the ocean. It is within the ocean. Now, the thing is, this is the difference. What if somebody comes along? What if I come along and tell you that's not how you get a woman? So now I'm going against the ocean, right? I'm sending my own wave within the ocean, right? And that wave will hit other people, and then the other people that will be hit by that wave, they're either gonna have a point of view, they're gonna have like a different point of view. They might have a different point of view from what I'm saying. They might agree with it, they might disagree with it. It all depends. But that's not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about is the creation of waves and vibration within the ocean of the subconscious, right? Parapsychology, right? So you're an alchemist. So let's get back to our stones here. So you're an alchemist, right? So when you take the information, when you listen to somebody speak, when you listen to a conversation, when somebody starts conversating with you, as an alchemist, it is your duty, not the other person's job, because that's his thing. That's how he feels. And that might not be how he feels. That is just what he's heard. So he's just repeating to you, or he's answering you a question that you ask, or he's just depicting the common conception that has always been around for thousands of years, and so on and so on, regardless if it's 100 years, 50 years, or 2 weeks ago, because some information come out all the time, right? So it might be 2 days ago that he heard this, but everybody heard it too. So now it's the common conception of what is, whatever the subject of the conversation might be. So it is your job as an alchemist to perceive things as energy, movement plus energy uh, equals specific XYZ result, right? A plus B equals X. A plus B equals X, right? So it's your job to decipher what you're hearing and what you're listening to, right? What would be the reason? So how do you filter? What kind of filter do I need to use? Well, the filter you need to use basically is, what you truly understand of what is light and what is dark, what is right is what is wrong, right? And honestly, you need to honestly understand what is hurtful, what is unhurtful, what is helpful, what is unhelpful. If it's helpful or it's not against the detriment of your own health and wealth, then keep the energy. But if it's not helpful, if it is a detriment to your health or somebody else's health, right? Because that matters too. You can't just be selfish, right? Because then it don't work. So you have to understand what is good for you, yourself, the rest of humanity, and so on and so on, right? Basically, what is acceptable, truly, mentally, physically acceptable, and what is not acceptable. And then you can start filtering out information, and you can start diluting things that you don't actually need to withhold within yourself, right? So you're filtering out good and bad energy. You're filtering out good and bad energy. And the beauty of it is, because the thing, if you notice, I didn't use good and evil on purpose. I didn't use good and evil on purpose because energy is neither good nor evil. There is no such thing as good and evil in energy. For some people, darkness is an evil thing, right? I don't think the light is evil. I think the being that we think represents the light is evil. That's what I think. I don't think the light is evil. I don't see light as evil. I don't see darkness as evil. As a matter of fact, I'm more prone to darkness to clean up the light. That's what I do. I use darkness to clean the light because the light needs to be cleaned because it's dirty. It's dirty right now. And there's an entity, and from my perception, from what I feel and from what I see, in my opinion, there is an entity hiding. There's a dark entity hiding in the light, acting as if it was light, and got everybody else fooled, thinking that they're in the light too, yin and yang. You got a lot of light and one small dark spot, right? Just like I'm in total darkness and there's one small speck of light called Lucifer. Duality. And you would be like, well, that's balance. I mean, like that's a good thing. Well, not necessarily, no. Not necessarily, no. Why not have a total blank white page and a total blank black page, plane of existence? Why do I need this small little dark spot in the light that's fooling everybody? You know, what's the point? I don't like that concept. It might be good for some humans, but I don't appreciate it. As a human trying to live my life, I don't appreciate that concept to be inside of metaphysical realms. I feel like that's an error. I feel like that is it is a spell that somebody did. I don't think Lucifer. I don't think Lucifer cares about being who he is. I mean, he is who he is. He's not gonna feel bad about who he is, but I don't think he appreciates the way that it happened. I think he would have changed. I think if it was up to him, things wouldn't have happened the way that it happened, right? And I'm pretty sure anybody else on the planet could say the same things about their own life, right? So that's really what is going on. That is the true concept of this supposed curse that's been going on. I don't want to call it a yin yang curse. I don't think people should be walking around calling it a yin yang curse. Don't call it a yin yang curse, okay? If you're kidding around, you can say that, but don't believe that, because yin and yang is an important concept. You know, it's duality, it's causality, it's everything. It's men and women. It's the whole thing. But there is a curse out here that is acting the same way as a yin and a yang system. We live in a metaphysical, huge, a massive metaphysical yin yang curse. I just called it the yin yang curse myself. We're living in a massive metaphysical duality, self-entitled duality, a misconception curse. This is what's going on. This is what we're living in. We have one small dark spot that everybody call God, but everybody else is trying to be light. And if I think, therefore I am, right? So everybody else is light. Everybody that wants to be light is light, right? Because you might think you want to be light, but if you want to be light, that means you are light. Because you wouldn't want to be light if you wasn't light. If you weren't attracted to light. If you weren't comfortable in light. Right? So, regardless, I believe that the job of the darkness is to keep watch and to maintain that small little dark spot, right? Because we're the only ones that can see it. Because everybody else is there's too much light around this dark spot in order for anybody to actually see it. Anybody in the light to actually notice the dark spot. I'm not saying people that are the dark, people that gain power from darkness are better than light people. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that at least it gives a semblance of balance. At least it's like as if there was balance, but there's no real balance. There's more evil in the world than anything else. There's more evil in the world than goodness, period. So there's not real balance. Because the thing is, whomever the Illuminati, okay, let's not hide our words here. You know, we're in a spiritual warfare. We got to say shit for what it is. So the Illuminati made this curse. It's in the Bible, by the way. There's a contract verse in the Bible where it says something about like owning. God owns everything that is above the sea and below the sea and some shit like that. So you know that's a curse. That's a contract. That's a contract that a large group of people can establish via using magic. It's ancient. It might be a little bit ancient though. It's the oldest trick in the book, but it works well. And this is what we're living in right now. We are living inside of a curse. This whole damn society is a curse. Everything that is in our mind is cursed. So let's get back to the alchemist. So as an alchemist, it is your duty, not everybody else's. It is your duty. Because at the end of the day, it helps you. The person is giving you power. And that's the part that they know about. Trust me, they know. They might be stupid as fuck, but they know. They know what they're doing. They know very well what they're doing. They know that they're pumping you full of darkness, but they're actually hoping that it destroys you. They're hoping that all that dark energy destroys your ass. That's what they're hoping. That's what they're wishing. But when you're an alchemist, it ain't that easy. Because an alchemist will transmute, transfigurate the energy to his own advantage, to receive something, he's gonna make something out of nothing. He's gonna make something out of nothing. So if you give him any kind of material, because the alchemist, that's the magic, that's the beauty of being an alchemist. An alchemist can turn, exactly, you guessed it, coal into gold. He can take a lump of coal and transform it into gold. And that's an important thing. It's an important rule of being an alchemist that you always need to remember. You have the capability of taking a piece of rock, a piece of rock with the lowest mineral nutrients in there, the lowest mineral enzyme in there, most feeble, fragile rock you can find, and turn it into a solid piece of gold. So the thing is, you shouldn't be afraid. I started eating again. I had like trouble eating, recently, because of my depression. So I started eating again. So that's why I'm always like taking breaks and shit, because I'm burping. I just ate not too long ago. Um, so yeah, sorry about that. And you might see it a lot because I just started eating more recently. I'm still having trouble eating, but at least I can eat more than 2 spoons of whatever, right? and I got some milkshakes. I got like some energy milkshakes and shit, whatever. So anyway, um, so what was I saying again? So you can turn a lump of coal into gold. You can turn a lump of gold into gold, and you have to remember that because that's one of your biggest attributes. It's your one of your biggest attributes. One of your biggest attributes uh, is uh, is the ability to do that. And when you're capable of doing that, that means you have the philosopher's stone, because the legend of the alchemist is that actually there is no alchemist capable of transforming coal into solid gold unless they have the philosopher's stone, right? The philosopher's stone, right? The stone of what? A philosopher, right? What does that mean? That means you are a person capable of thought. You are a person capable of clear thought, right? And only with clear thought will you be able to transmute the energies sent towards you or that you find on your own into whatever you wish it to be. So the thing is not to be afraid of receiving information. That's the trick. If you're into that sort of thing, if you're into that sort of things, and I suspect that you're into that sort of thing. If you're listening to my videos, that means you are an alchemist, or you want to be an alchemist. I think, therefore I am. You can't be afraid of information. You can't be afraid of receiving information regardless of where it comes from. It is your duty. It's not my job to decipher things for your mind. It's your job to decipher things for you. You have to decipher what is good for you and your mind. Of course, I will do the best. The best that I will try to do the best job that I can to give you information that is not bullshit. And I do not believe that my information is bullshit, but I have polarized myself into another state of being, right? And that state of being might not be for you. So it's your job to take whatever I'm telling you and transfigure it into something useful for yourself. Of course, you don't need to do that. Not on my videos. I hate to brag. I hate to boast. But let's just call it practice. I mean, you are in school. So this is homework, right? Your homework is trying to become a god. That's what your homework is. So as I was saying, so let's just recap what we were saying here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and comment if you wish to do so. Have a conversation in the comment section. Send some waves and some vibration in the comment section if you want to. You know what I mean? So let's recap here. So we all agree that the common conception, and you have to stop believing that mass consciousness is God. It's obviously not God. Just in this conversation, I just proved to you that global consciousness is not God, because global consciousness is actually affected by Illuminati. It's affected by the media. It's affected by these cults. It's affected by these zealots, these dark, these mischievous, these light not even dark. These, well, weird. I don't even know. Well, they use both. To be honest, they use both things. Like the Illuminati use both sides. They use dark and light to attack people with it. Right? They use the Illuminati, like Lucifer. The secret of the infernal realm is that the only way to access the infernal realm, the only way to access the infernal realm is through love. The only way to become a demon is through love. Most people don't know that. And even if you tell them that, they're not going to understand it. And I'm not going to explain to you because I don't want to, influence people into doing something that they're not supposed to be doing. But let's just put it like this. You need to be very loving to become a demon. You need to be a very loving person to become a demon. So the Illuminati uses light and dark to create these rituals, to create these mass confusions, these mass rituals, these mass sacrifices, right? They use light and dark. Okay? So we all agree, if they're doing this to our minds, that the common global consciousness is not God. It can't be, because we don't have control over ourselves. If global consciousness was God, then that would mean the Illuminati would not exist, because we would have total control over our lives. And only through this kind of cleansing, the cleansing of the Illuminati, it's only through the cleansing of the Illuminati, the cleansing of these dark occult, alleged dark and alleged occult practices, that the mind can achieve a state of higher existence that could resemble God. But it is not God. Even at that point, it's still not God. It's like a baby God, right? It might become God one day, but it's growing into what is called God. But now we live in a society where the perception of God was taught and brung onto us. It is not something that just happened to exist because everybody's mind is pure and divine and full of knowledge. This is not what's going on today. Our minds are not pure, divine, and full of knowledge. That's not true. Some people, in some cases, yes. Or people are starting to wake up, yes. But this is not historical. This is not throughout history. Before that, we had slaves. Before that, there was the Roman armies that was killing people left and right. There was slaves all over the place. There was murder, there was corruption all over the place. So our minds never had the time to create this so-called God. So the global consciousness of humanity cannot be God. It is a fallacy. It is false. And the entity that you might call God is actually the dark spot within the light. Because that God was actually created by someone else. That God was brung onto us by someone else. We were learned God. We did not discover God. We were taught God. We did not discover God. We were taught God. So for as long as you remember, there's always this one teacher that comes along and tells you blah XYZ, right? There's always this story about this one guy that knows everything and everybody else don't know shit, right? So you always need leaders. Lucifer's a leader too. I'm not saying we don't need to know nothing. Lucifer's a leader. That dark spot over there is a leader. Let's put it that way, right? But the difference here is that dark spot over there might be a leader, but what have you learned so far? That's the question. What have you truly learned so far? What has he truly showed you so far? What has he truly showed you as of yet? You know about violence. You know, you have seen people being violated. You have been violated. You have seen other people being violated. You are aware of war. You are aware of mostly everything that is evil. This is what you truly know. You know evil. And what is inside of you is a bit evil too. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because that evil that you have harnessed, that you have a control over, that you have a foothold over, is actually defending you against other people that might be completely full of evil, right? I'm talking about like defending yourself in a street fight or something like that, right? Or saving somebody from getting their ass whooped or some shit like that. You have the only reason why you're capable of doing that is because you've seen it and you lived it. This is what was learned to us from that guy over there. This is the only thing he's shown us till this day. And he has not shown us anything else but that. And mind you, you might be like, I'm tripping, but mind you, we're talking about an entity that is supposed to be all powerful and all knowing and all love. But yet, he has never shown us his almighty powers. He has never shown us his all love. He has never shown us all his knowledge. We have never seen any of those things. We do not know the secrets of the universe unless you're somebody like me that's like Prometheus and you're not afraid to steal shit from niggas. You know, unless you're Prometheus, you don't know about these things because you have to go get it yourself. It's not him that's showing us as a whole what these things are. It is not him showing us these things. It is us that are taking responsibility for ourselves to go out and try to reach these things for ourselves. And most of the time, these things, they tell us not to go towards these things because these things are evil. Well, I say, what else am I supposed to do? Because he ain't telling. What else am I supposed to do? And where's all the love? The love is not here. The love is not here. It's not. Joe Biden is president of the United States. How can you tell me this is all love? This is not all love. Joe Biden is not all love to me. That's not all love. That's the Illuminati making, that's just stupid. Like this is what's fucked up about these guys, bro. Like, they sure love doing little tricks here and there. Like they're silly rabbits. Tricks are for kids. Silly rabbit tricks are for kids, and it shows when you look at these supposed guys that call themselves Illuminati. You obviously can see that they're kids. Who in their right mind would choose Joe Biden to be president of the United States? What kind of occult, satanic group, demon worshiping MFers would choose Joe Biden as a president? Are you kidding? Are you, what? You know what I mean? Like that's not love. There's no love there. Where's the love? That's not love. There's no love here. Right? And what about the almightiness? So and so there's this group called the Illuminati, which is a small group of people, right? There's only 1 million of these guys. There's 7 billion people on the planet. There's 1 million people, 1 million of these guys, allegedly, based off of their websites. There's a million of them, right? And that's just as of today. So there wasn't a million of them before. The number is today they're 1 million. So this small marginalized group is torturing, assailing, destroying, accusing, murdering, kidnapping, slandering, hindering everybody else on the planet. And then you're going to tell me you're almighty. What? What? Like, with a goddamn minute. You're not almighty. You can't even fight a small group of people. I know 8-year-olds that are braver than that. I know 8-year-olds. If you get like, there's Africans, there's African warlord kids. I shit you not. I'm not even kidding. There's 2 little kids. I saw this. It was a documentary. I saw it on YouTube, so it might be bullshit. But anyway, regardless, there's 2 little kids. They're twins, right? They're twins, and they're fucking 10 years old. Like they're 8 to 10 years old, easy, right? 12 max. Right, they're small little kids. These 2 little kids, they live in a fucking Asian jungle somewhere. I don't fucking know where. They live in an Asian jungle somewhere, and these 2 little kids were like the roughest, toughest guerrilla warfare warlords of the entire country. 2 little kids. They had adults. They were giving orders to adult motherfuckers. And these 2 kids were like savages. They would go in the jungle and just like savages. Like the army was scared of them. Like that's how fucked up these guys were, man. And then you're going to say you almighty. How you, bro, stop. If it was for me, I would rather get those 2 little kids and let them loose in the middle of fucking LA. You know, like I would just let them fucking loose and just have urban combat. I would just let them fucking run amok. You know what I mean? Just kill everything. Then pray to God. Because they're gonna have the result is gonna be better. There's actually going to be an actual result. These 2 kids will finish these motherfuckers before God finishes his lunch. So where's the almightiness? What happened? What happened to your strength? What happened to your power? Because it looks to me like it disappeared. So, like I said, waves. The mind is like a sea. The mind is like an ocean. The mind receives ripples, receives waves. You can feel the wave, just hitting you in your face when you get inspiration or an idea. Or you hear something nice, like a piece of music or something. But you are also capable of sending out the same waves that you receive. And might be other people that think like you too. So that wave probably could replace a wave that you've felt before. Like a concept, like the concept of women, right? You might have a different idea of what a woman is, and maybe everybody's going to agree with it. So that's going to change the conception of everybody else, and that's going to become the new wave. I love it when Lucifer speaks through me. It's fucking remarkable. It's just the most beautiful things I've ever heard in my fucking life. Just the most beautiful things, the most beautiful music, the most beautiful notes. All I hear is beauty. To you, it might be offensive, but to my ears, it's just beauty. Paradisiac. Orgasmic, even, for lack of better words. So, you are the alchemist. You are the alchemist. It is your duty to take the resources, because that's the job of an alchemist. An alchemist doesn't go out and be like, oh, that's bad resources, oh, that's good resources, and you shouldn't use that resource and you should use this. No, 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 no. An alchemist looks and analyzes every piece of resources he finds, and then he understands the elements of it, and then he sees what he could make these elements into, and he changes the perception of that element. He changes the movement of that element. He changes the form of that element. He changes the idea of that element. Can I get a goddamn amen? Can I get an amen? Fuck. Let's go. So anyways, I'm going to stop it right now because this video is too damn long. And remember, don't ever worry about what is. Worry about what could be, in a good way. Don't worry about what you perceive, because what you perceive is always subject to change. Always. At all times. But you still need to do a little bit of effort. And some things take more effort than others. Like the lie that is the Illuminati. You can change that perception, but you can't do it just by yourself. The lie of the conditioning that actually is affecting our everyday lives, our everyday conversations, regardless of if you're watching TV or not. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because this is a spiritual war. You're not losing, but you're not winning either. You're not losing, but you're not winning either. See you guys on the next one. Have a good one.